What is it?
What is it? should have died when I killed him.
You there. So I was right. You're a sword for hire. Excellent. My name is Marla Rethan of House Hlalu, and I have a proposition for you. I need someone to investigate what's going on in the Vasia Didanat ebony mine. Piqued your interest, have I? Capital. My brother Benar and I share ownership of the mine, but I suspect he's hiding something from me. The little weasel's even locked down the entrance. Only his personal guards are allowed inside. There are only 2 keys to the mine. Benar keeps one in our manor house. The other is carried by the mine's foreman, Nox. I want you to procure a key, either one, and then search the mine for any sign of mischief. Report back with your findings. Foreman Nox is somewhere in Balmora. Should be simple enough to pluck the key from his pockets. Or, if you prefer burglary, you could take my brother's key from the desk in his study. Our manor is just up the hill to the west of town. Well, the key should be no trouble. My brother is away at the moment, and the house guards are not exactly the keenest. If you choose to pickpocket the foreman, well, just avoid the city watch, I suppose. That's the rub. The mine is well guarded. My brother insisted that I hire only the rowdiest and most ill-tempered mercenaries, so I brought on the Iron Hound Company. I can vouch for their pugnacity. I'd prefer to avoid bloodshed, of course, but I don't want to tip my brother off. If he is up to something, I'll need deniability to maintain the element of surprise. Besides, they're mostly criminals, drunks, and skooma addicts. Expendable, yes? My dear brother prefers to keep our roles in the business separate. He runs the mine while I handle the finances. He doesn't interfere with my work, nor I his. That's the agreement. Oh, I have, but Benner tells me nothing. It's just secure more buyers and hire more workers. He gets dreadfully annoyed when I press him about my concerns. Like, why do we need so many miners? Even the townsfolk are starting to talk about that. You haven't heard the rumors? The cursed mine of Vasia Didanot, they call it. They go in, but they don't come out. Just inane ghost stories, truth be told. But if the rumors persist, it could soil our reputation. Well, the mine has underperformed for years. I'd actually considered selling it. Until recently, that is. Ebony has been pouring out of the mine these past few months. And normally, I'd be overjoyed, but that's also when Benner became distant. Anything out of the ordinary. I don't suppose you'd know the difference between pure ebony and... Never mind. Just give the mine a good look and keep an eye out for mischief. If you find anything odd, bring it back with you. I have many important clients that depend on the success of this mine. They'll hold me personally responsible if anything isn't correct. I'd like to avoid that kind of unpleasantness.
Served time in that waste. Horrible place. You made the right choice, friend.
I can't believe you look like the traveling sort. In your excursions, have you perchance come upon a young dark elf named Vea? She went missing a couple of weeks ago and her father desperately seeks any information regarding her whereabouts. That's a shame. Her father, Eris, the house counselor here in Balmora, promises that anyone who can find his daughter and return her safely to his side will be well rewarded. You should speak to Counselor Eris. He's opened the kin house to interview potential recruits. Freelancers, as it were. If you're interested, go speak to the counselor. The longer Vea remains missing, the more distressed Counselor Eris becomes. Counselor Eris can be found at the Redoran kin house, and do hurry. He's ever so troubled by our failure to locate young Vea. If he finds that an outsider can succeed where the houseguard has failed, so be it. I have no issue with Counselor Eris seeking help. It's where he's decided to get that help that concerns me. House Redoran doesn't need outsiders to take care of its business. But who am I to question a house counselor? Counselor Eris Relith oversees Redoran operations in Balmora and the surrounding countryside. He's very influential, very powerful. Usually, the counselor doesn't allow his passions to get the better of him. But Vea is his daughter, after all. Fair. How can anyone not know about House Redoran? Is this some sort of Outlander ruse? Well, in that case, Redoran is the grandest of the great Dunmer houses. We champion the virtues of duty and piety, and we have a proud military tradition. Our house comes first in all things. I don't understand why Eris seeks outside help. If I knew what happened to the Counselor's daughter, I wouldn't be talking to you now, would I? As far as we can tell, she left of her own accord. There wasn't any foul play involved that we're aware of. Beyond that, you'd have to ask the Counselor.
Still keep slaves?
How else do those lazy mages accomplish anything?
What about the pact?
Please, this one needs to get out of here. Those cultists, they're insane.
All right, but keep your voice down. I'll be ready to leave soon enough. In the meantime, if anyone asks, you're just here to haul cargo.
What? Who? This one is just here to haul cargo. This one said nothing about cultists. Perhaps you are thinking of another Khajiit. Look, Renaku just wants to leave all these crazy dark elves behind and find a safer mine to work in. The Shulk ore mine is cursed. Really? You? Just leave Renaku out of it. If you want to know what happened so badly, just go out to the Shulk ore mine and see for yourself. No one likes a Gwar licker, you clawless kitten. It happened a few days back. Weird cultists just barged in and took over the mine. This one managed to get away, but the crew chief and some of the others are still out there. Happy now, fish breath? This one.
Liz, please, if you just listen.
Take care of yourself.
I'm in need of a strong set of legs, Traveler, and you look like one capable of protecting yourself. Will you aid an old Mer in one last task? I have an obligation to my family. No, a duty of utmost importance. But I have grown too feeble to fulfill it. If you would take this memory stone to the few places of significance in my life, I will pay you well. It allows one to archive memories for future generations. I hope to do this for my children, who have grown estranged. Invoke my stone at the locations I've marked on your map, and the memories I wish to archive will manifest. I thank you for your aid. Fewer than ever are willing to aid their elders in these troubled times. Now I suppose the distance with my children is my fault, not theirs. Ah, yes. Mills. My son has never really forgiven me for never being here for them. He's a stranger in my own home. No. If anything, it's the other way around. Even Naria has grown accustomed to my absence. Naria less than Mills, but both my children grew up largely on their own. My duties to Master Drenham consumed a great deal of my time. Mills especially grew up with Naria and no one else. He despises me, and I don't blame him. You'll know soon enough, as will they, I hope. I failed them as a father, but they are safe, aren't they? I kept them safe. It is a rare gem. Once, long ago, Redguard warriors carried them into battle. One of the most famous was a sword singer in the First Age, Makeleleki. No historians will cherish my thoughts, certainly, but perhaps my children will come to in time. I purchased it from my master, Drenham, a Telvanni mage of middling repute. I have served him for how long? Many, many years. For as long as I can remember. I will serve him until I die, no doubt. But that will not be long now. I cannot travel with you, but I have attuned this stone to my soul. When you use it at the locations I've marked, it will summon echoes of things that once occurred there. The stone absorbs these echoes, allowing others to view them.
Do you make a habit of randomly accosting people while they fish? I don't see how that's any of your business. I've nothing to say to my father or those his Telvanni master employs. Whatever this is about, it's no concern of mine. My father managed to leave me out of his life. He can leave me out of his problems, too. You want to talk? My sister Neria works the stables. She tolerates my father's business better than I do.
Have we met? I don't remember. Ah! Hands off, pickpocket! What are you trying to do?
Halt, Fetcher! You're just another lowlife Fetcher who broke the law and got caught. Now you have to pay. Fine. Now get your stink away from me.
Tried to pet it. Damn dog bit me.
Leave it alone. There's something strange about that dog.
Why, you look like a well-traveled individual. If you're looking to give your mount a well-deserved rest, you've come to the right place. We know how to pamper a loyal guar in Balmoral. My father? Oh no, has he taken a fall? Or did he ask you to do something for him? He's been declining of late, and I'm afraid he's not entirely in his right mind. Oh, Mills. He was so young when Mother passed. I've tried to explain that Father had to work to keep a roof over our heads, but it's been difficult. I raised Mills myself while Father was away, which was often. He's never forgiven Father for that. I'm afraid I don't know. All he's been able to tell me is that part of his contract with Master Drenham forbids him from disclosing any of the Master's business, even to his own children. Whatever he's doing, I'm certain it's important. Oh yes, Father is well regarded among the Telvanni Masters, even though he's never aspired to be one himself. Master Drenham trusts him implicitly, and if you know anything about the Telvanni, that's impressive on its own. They don't trust easily. I wish he didn't have to work so much. Master Drenham pays well, but sometimes I worry he will work Father to death. He's just so tired all the time. Even when he finds time away, Mills refuses to see him, and I know that hurts him dearly. I did for a bit, after Mother died. I didn't understand why Father couldn't be with us until I grew up and learned how hard it is to keep a family housed and fed. Now I appreciate all Father's sacrifices for us. I just wish Mills could see it.
You shouldn't be here. Didn't you read the House Redarin proclamation? I wouldn't be here myself, but some of my miners are still in there. Our mine was invaded by violent cultists. They showed up and just took the place over. My people are trapped. I'm no expert, but it looked like the cultists were preparing to conduct a ritual before the Ashlander interrupted them. Well, I never actually saw an Ashlander, but I heard a cultist yell, "Ashlander thief! That's our mystical weapon!" That's not an exact quote, but you get the idea. I don't know what happened after that. I was kind of busy trying not to die. Probably because I heard one of them say, "With this ritual we'll call forth a mystical weapon and attain the power of a god." Or something along those lines. Look, I was just trying to get me and my miners out of there when the Ashlanders showed up. It used to be an ore mine, and we hope it will be again. My crew was inside preparing to start up mining operations when the cultists attacked. The way things are going, we might just have to turn the place into another Kwama egg mine. Really? That's awfully brave of you. If you see any of my miners, tell them to get their arses out here. Wait as long as I can. Or until I hear screaming. Then I'll go to Balmora and try to find some help. Good luck in there.
mine belongs to us now! Morality is a fool's game.
Did you find what you were looking for in the mine? Of course. I perfectly understand. I think I'll wait a little longer and see if any of my miners were able to escape from the cultists. Good luck with your mission, whatever it is.
Guards, come quick and catch the scoundrel.
Halt! Oh, look what crawled up from the dung heap. Now get lost, scum. can't believe Lord Vivek wouldn't see worse of Mr. Yell.
I demand to see my brother. Lay hands upon me, and you will lose them. You there! The territory of the Red Exiles shouldn't be traveled lightly. Ashlanders once respected each other, helped one another. You'd think these were house wolves or tribunal dogs, the way they treated me. Speaking of the tribunal, you have the smell of dog about you. I wonder why that is. Lord Vivek, is it? And I thought all the tribunal cared about was building monuments to their own greatness. Nice to see that one of them cares about what's going on beyond their borders. Well, perhaps we can aid each other this day, Outlander. Ashlanders are nomads, but we gather at sacred sites to trade, confer, and pay homage to the past. Aldrin is such a place. That's why Chodala invited the Red Exiles here. But these outcasts won't let me into their camp. I need to find my brother. My brother, Chodala, is the Ashkan of our tribe, and I am his ambassador. I act as a go-between among the tribes. Chodala wants to unite the Dunmer and calmly end the era of the bickering houses. He hopes to convince the tribes to follow his lead. Head into the Red Exiles camp and find my brother. Otherwise, see if you can find out what he was doing in there and where he's gone. Be wary of the outcasts. As you saw, they won't hesitate to attack without reason or provocation. No, just our tribe, the Urshilaku, though he's respected by most of the other Ashlanders for his wisdom and strength of will. He does hope to unite the tribes in a common cause, however. That's one of the reasons we've gathered here at Aldrin. As you saw, hostility is second nature to the Red Exiles. We're here to negotiate, but they're no better than thieves and murderers. If they spot you in their camp, you'll need to defend yourself. It's unfortunate, but they'll leave you no choice. The Red Exiles, they're violent, dangerous Ashlanders who were banished from their tribes and joined together to create their own clan. Chodala invited them to the gathering and went into their camp to talk, but he's been gone too long. I'm worried. My brother and I have always worked to help our people and improve the Ashlander way of life. He used to believe that peaceful negotiation was the best path to accomplish this. Recently, however, things have become different. He's almost like... No, that's not something I'm ready to talk about with an outsider. Perhaps after you prove your trustworthiness and willingness to help us, then we can discuss my brother in more detail. Perhaps. That's not our goal, but the tribes will defend themselves if necessary. No, we hope to present a united front and show the houses the folly of the path they've embarked upon. Turning away from our forefathers and god ancestors has made them weak.
Ah, a fellow outsider in this inhospitable sea of ash. I wonder... Drellith Hilaron of House Redoran at your service. Though I doubt I'll be very useful here. This is Ashlander country, and they've made it clear I'm not welcome. It's my fault, really. I made a mess of their customs when I arrived. I'm researching for my family's ancestral tomb, you see. My research led me here, to Aldrin. It's hard to believe, but I think my family may have settled here for a time. When I arrived, I immediately started asking questions. I was... overzealous? Unfortunately, yes. I wonder if we might aid each other. Despite my missteps, I do know a great deal about Ashlander culture. I could help you earn their favor. In return, you could find out if they know anything about my family's tomb. First, pay respect to Farseer Quamtar. She walks the Red Path this year, and it's customary to wish her well. Request to take part in the offering to the first Ashkans. Do that, and you should be able to ask their wise woman about the tomb. You'll see a great bonfire in the middle of the camp. She'll be there. Look for the woman with the blindfold. Part of the ritual honoring her ascension from Farseer to Wise Woman, the wise women guide the Ashlanders on matters of faith. Even the Ashkans defer to them. The blindfold represents the need to look beyond what the eyes can see. The annual pilgrimage to honor the fall of Scar, the great Emperor Crab. The Ashlanders claim their ancestors united to bring the beast down. They gather here to celebrate the victory and bring offerings to the cairns of the first Ashkans. Fathers of the 4 largest Ashlander tribes. Long ago, they united the Velothi people Scar. The tribes often quarrel, but during a celebration they greet each other as friends. I wish the houses had such a custom. Yes, the Hilaron ancestral tomb. My family's crypt has been lost for centuries. Most of my kinsmen gave up searching for it decades ago. They assume it's been destroyed or lies too deeply buried, but I remain optimistic. I discovered a tablet hidden away in an ancient Velothi temple. It contained a cryptic reference to my family. In the shadow of Scar, we found our home. The Ashlanders call the last Emperor Crab Scar, so the tomb must be nearby. The tribes gather here every year beneath Scar to pay tribute to the first Ashkans. Do you know the old Velothi saying, all stones speak the truth? Well, no one knows these stones better than the Ashlanders.
seem to have survived your visit to the Red Exiles camp. Did you find my brother? Interesting. I never suspected that the outcasts were disciplined enough to keep records such as this. Oh no. I can't believe my brother would be so... brazen. It means that Chodala really has changed. With his newfound powers and rising ambitions, I fear what he plans for the tribes. I suppose you have a right to know what I'm talking about. Take this. I found it among my brother's possessions. Chodala discovered new power out in the wilderness, and it changed his view of the world. He writes about it in that document. Now he believes he's the Nerevarine, and incites the tribes while I try to keep them all from doing anything rash. All I know is that his new power frightens me. Chodala returned from a sojourn in the wilderness more vibrant, more commanding. He's always been strong, but now he's fearless, practically invincible, and swifter than the fastest Ashlander scout. Chodala says his new abilities strengthen his claim as the Nerevarine. I think it's the staff he carries. He had it when he returned, and now it's always at his side. I know it's unreasonable, but I hate that staff. He calls it Sunara. While the prophecy of the Nerevarine can be interpreted as the end of the tribunal, I have always seen it as a prediction of hope and peace. Chodala and some Ashlanders, such as the Red Exiles, favor war. That's not the Nerevarine I believe in. He uses an Ashkon's words to plant dark ideas in his followers. Ideas that speak of false gods, lost traditions, and the need for a cleansing war. His words become more forceful every day, but I hope to dissuade him from this violent course. You don't know? I thought... No, you're not an Ashlander, and the House Elves rarely talk about such things. Long ago, there was a hero named Nerevar. He fought alongside the Tribunal, before they claimed to be gods, until they betrayed him. So our legends say. Nerevar united the Kaima and forged an alliance with the Dwemer. He died at the Battle of Red Mountain. We believe the Tribunal hastened his demise, despite Vivek's claims to the contrary. The Nerevarine is a promise and a prophecy. We believe that, through the power of Azura, Nerevar will return to unite all Dunmer, House and Ashlander alike, and make Morrowind great again. The returned Nerevar will be known as the Nerevarine.
Outlander, over here!
This requires a considerable amount of effort, so just listen. We have a problem here. Return to my office immediately.
Dark elves, lords, and Argonians actually work together. If not, that's a lie.
You... I don't recognize you. You've made a terrible mistake in coming here. Do you feel it yet? The cold rush through your veins, the stiffness in your joints. Only a matter of time now. Only a matter of time. You really haven't figured it out. You're denser than those stone fiends. Master Rethan brought me on to study a Daedric text, a formula for turning living flesh into a substance akin to ebony. Not a perfect match, but close enough. Something like that. But what does it matter? I'll be frozen solid soon, black as midnight. A commodity, nothing more. Ironic. You mean to rob me, I suppose. The scroll's just there. Have a care with it. Wealth always comes at a price. What? Afflicting all these miners? Oh, spare me your crude moral outrage. They were wastrels, laborers that were too ignorant or too lazy to find work anywhere else. This is as meaningful a contribution as they were likely to make. None. I'd invite you to kill me,
But given that I'll be dead soon anyway, it's hardly worth the effort. None. Well, none that I've discovered anyway. I speak modestly when I say that if there was a cure, I would have found it already. I guess I could squander my remaining hours searching for a remedy, but I'm an alchemist, a daedrologist. We don't trouble ourselves with things like hope. I leave that nonsense to priests, children, mentally ill. Why do you even care? Oh, fine. I altered the formula, turning the liquid decoction into a vapor. It proved to be very effective. Unfortunately, it was nearly impossible to contain. Hence, this.
Ah, I'm glad to see you made it back in one piece. So, what have you learned? Anything? What? Well, that sounds ghastly. To think that my own brother would be capable of such a thing. We must move quickly. Did you find any evidence? I'll need something concrete if I'm to convince the Hlalu trade barons to intercede. Well done. I have a final task for you, if you're willing. I must take this to the trade baron, Councillor Riveth. He's staying at the Balmora Inn. Alas, Benner has many contacts in town. If he hears that I'm meeting Riveth, he may try to flee. Travel to the Rethan Manor House and detain Benner. Once I've explained matters to Riveth, I'll send Hlalu constables to collect my brother. After this, I'll ask nothing more of you. You have my word. That the men I worked tirelessly to hire were being used as fodder for some vile experiment? Absolutely not. It's appalling. Why would I have sent you to discover what was going on if I already knew? Yes, I hired him at my brother's insistence. Something about valuable books and scrolls found in the shrine. We planned to sell them off once Gavros translated them. That's what I thought, anyway. Wait. Gavros is still alive? I see. That is unfortunate. But I suppose that's the risk you take when you start brewing foul decoctions and poisoning innocent miners. Not long. He tends to be brusque. Once I've explained the situation, he'll waste no time bringing Benna in for questioning. It will be brief, I assure you. And they will punish him severely. He'll definitely lose his share of the estate and the ebony mine. He may even lose his life. In either case, I'll have to bear the weight of our family assets alone.
Well? I don't like the way the mountain rumbles these days. Makes me glad we're about to set sail and leave all this disaster behind us. We're headed to Sadrith Mora, if that's where you'd like to go. Just decide quick. I want to sail on the next tide. I was planning on sailing to Sadrith Mora next, but I don't mind taking you to an Alliance capital. Trade is always good in the capitals.
Oh, don't mind the big chunk of stone floating above the...
They say
Me? Cheer for the Stormlords? For the Pit Demons? Never. Fire Drakes forever! Need you ask? Fire Drakes rain down flames of destruction upon their foes. We unleash an inferno to smite our enemies. Fear the burn!
Yes! Another victory!
Another adventurer looking for work? Did you? Well, that's why it was posted. It's simple. Citizens tell us what they need, and we arrange for the job to be completed. You will be able to meet with the client before starting the task. They'll also have your reward, not us. Belarus Omeril and her brother Traylan will handle your assignments. Check in with them frequently to see if they have a job for you. They'll inform you what you need to accomplish and who made the request. Belarus' requests may appear straightforward, but many adventurers find them difficult to accomplish. The assortment of enemies she'll ask you to face are all powerful, and I would recommend gathering allies before heading out. Traylan handles requests which the temple has special interests in. His tasks require more subtlety, but they are by no means easy. Make sure to listen to his explanations carefully. It's also a good idea to speak to the clients beforehand. I would hope. You came to us, after all. Traylan and Belarus are just down the hall. They should already have assignments for you. Speak to either of them to get started.
Current events have left the temple in need of additional resources. The requests I handle are citizens whose interests best align with the goals of the temple. You'll work with these individuals to help better Vardenfell. Are you interested? Tax collectors are occasionally robbed making their rounds, but until recently the assessment offices were rarely targeted. There has been a rash of heists where thieves made off with both the gold and, strangely, the tax records as well. Alvace Droth, the functionary investigating these thefts, believes the thieves have established themselves in Puk. Go retrieve the stolen taxes and records. This city needs those monies. Alves can be found here in Vivec, if you need more to go on.
At last. Did you see what's happening outside? Red Mountain rumbles louder and more frequently. The sky grows dark, and worst of all, the people are beginning to notice. Soon I'll have to muster the Ordinators to keep them from the palace doors. In part, Lord Vivec is not well. I won't allow his followers to see him in this state. He continues to lose energy, and it's becoming difficult for him to maintain the realm in his usual fashion. Now, what did your investigations uncover? I'll review these documents and present your findings to Lord Vivec. I was against bringing you into this investigation, but I was wrong. Thank you for aiding us. You should go see Lord Vivec now. He's been asking about you. I'll be along shortly. Very well. Tell me what you learned at each of the locations, and let's see what conclusions we can come to. Barrelzal faithfully served Sotha Sil. He's as loyal to the Tribunal as I am. He would never intentionally harm Lord Vivec. But that tool he mentioned... Perhaps one of the priests Vivec sent away could search the temple archives for more information. Lord Vivec doesn't want his followers to see him in such a weakened state. Only you, Canon Levuel, and myself are permitted into his palace now. Speaking of the palace, Lord Vivec wants to see you when we're done here. So your notes say, and this Saren assisted you. Interesting. Most Ashlanders want nothing to do with the Tribunal. Even so, they rarely become aggressive. I'd say this Chodala bears watching. If we can spare it, I'll send an armiger to Aldrin. Interesting theory. Perhaps Chodala's staff can steal Vivec's energy. I have a hard time imagining how an Ashlander could accomplish such a feat. Lord Vivec said the draining has grown more intense since you left. It doesn't look well. From what you discovered, I dare say there may be a correlation between the narcotic relic and the tool Barrelzal mentioned. And it seems the Ashlander thieves are connected to Chodala. Your evidence points to a clear conclusion. So it appears. Lord Vivec's doing his best not to complain, but I can see how much the draining of his energy has cost him. Just seeing you again should improve his mood considerably. And the progress you made with your investigations, outstanding.
Stand aside! Lord Vivec is expecting you!
Lord Vivec isn't receiving visitors today.
My lord, please let me send for aid. Perhaps one of the healers can help you.
Pain is best tolerated in private. As I have written in the 37th ballad.
There must be something I can do.
You can call the Archcanon. He should hear the news our friend brings us. The river drains into the sea as my divinity flows out of me. Need some work. As you can see, I continue to lose energy, and it has made me somewhat agitated. Have you made any progress toward discovering the source of my discomfort? An Ashlander? That seems unlikely, but I trust your instincts. We need to find out more about this Chodala and the ancient enemy that aids him. Take this. Another token of my appreciation. And look, here comes the Archcanon now.
My lord, the Outlander may have actually discovered something. After further examination of the documents you brought back, I have to agree with your assessment. The Ashlander Chodala has somehow siphoned divine energy away from Lord Vivek. Not exactly, but now that we know that the affliction isn't natural, we can work toward a solution, one that probably involves Chodala's staff. How the Ashlander got his hands on Sothasil's tool and turned it into a weapon is beyond me, though. Eventually, but we need to be cautious. If Chodala is as respected as you say, attacking him would start a war we can't afford to partake in. Go to Aldrin and talk to his sister, Saren. I don't trust her either, but she worked with you before. Get to Aldrin and locate Saren. She needs to tell us more about Chodala and then help us acquire his staff. Without it, we can't restore Vivek. Meanwhile, I need to placate the populace. The people grow concerned over Vivek's continuing isolation. Didn't we cover this? Let me refresh your memory. Lord Vivek suffers stoically as his divine energy drains away. Neither my administrations nor his defenses have been sufficient to plug the hole, so we've isolated him to keep panic to a minimum. Experience, Outlander. Experience. I have seen the Dunmer rage against the gods at the least provocation. When they realize that Vivek is ill, that his powers are failing, they'll weep and gnash their teeth like frightened children. The people don't handle the infirmities of their deities very well, especially when those infirmities could foreshadow Red Mountain's eruption or portend the moonlets fall from the sky. Once such fear ignites, it spreads like wildfire. If we knew for certain, we wouldn't be sending you to make a deal with a heretical Ashlander, now would we? Chodala must have something to do with Vivek's energy loss, but the how and why remain a mystery. That's why I must examine that staff. Everything you uncovered suggests the staff and Sothasil's missing tool are one and the same, and it's obviously connected to Chodala's newfound powers. Bring it back here so I can study it. The solution resides in the staff. I'm sure of it. They try not to think about them at all. The Ashlanders are savages. They refuse to acknowledge the supremacy of Lord Vivek and the Tribunal, instead putting their faith in the despicable Daedra. They're heretics, pure and simple. The Ashlanders hold to superstitions the way Quama protect their eggs. If they really considered Chodala to be the Nerevarin, then any action you take against him will enrage the tribes. Talk to Saren and see if she can suggest an alternative course.
Even if you hadn't destroyed those shipments, I'm sure the Tribunal would stop the plague before it reached me.
Appointments? Bah! It's beyond belief that the temple keeps me waiting. Don't they realize that it's a courtesy that I'm here? My twin and I are apprentices to the great Devaith Fair. I'm here on his behalf to report to the priests about an incident which occurred near the growth site of his new tower, Tel Fair. A rift opened when we were shaping the workshop below the tower. Master Fear believes there is a connection to the living gods. He's sure to explore the rift once his expedition is assembled. My sister could tell you more if that interests you. You may take this boat to Tel Fair. Dania will be there assisting our master. She always was the lucky one. I must stay and wait for my audience with the priests. I didn't see much myself. I was evacuated well before the threat could reach me. Many weren't so lucky. I regret I'll be reporting that most of the Telvanni working on the tower died. Not while she's with Master Fear. He would never let anything happen to her. He's very protective of us. I can't speak for the rest of you. Master Fear said about a dozen seasoned adventurers would do. Maybe less if they had extensive experience with planar travel, but he thought that unlikely. There was some confusion on that point. The things coming out of the rift appeared to be constructs, but like nothing anyone had seen. Master Fear's theory, which is assuredly correct, was that the rift converged with Clockwork City.
What is it?
One more late shipment, Bolin, and you will never work in Vardenfell again.
I'm terribly sorry, Master. It won't happen again.
Ah, another useful idiot approaches. And what trifling matter? I trust you're not here to waste my time. That would end badly for you. So Edrino finally came through, did she? And she sent you in her place, no doubt because she believes I will turn her into a Vardvark. Or such nonsense. The things these commoners believe. I shall, of course, dock her payment for the late delivery. If you're lying, you do so remarkably well. If you're not, it is of no concern to me. You will receive the same coinage either way. Take it and be about your business. And tell Edrino that if she fails again, I shall locate another mushroom seller. And that concludes my deliveries for today. What an exciting life I lead.
There you are. Any luck finding the luck quick if we want full potency? Perfect. You may have noticed an odor. It's subtle, barely noticeable in fact, but once I add it to this wickweed and quama shell solvent, ha-ha! The perfect pheromone for the common house cat. Surprised? He may have squeezed a few secrets out of me, but he revealed some facts about himself along the way. For instance, he's violently allergic to cats. Sprinkle this potion over the plants near his door, and the results should be dramatic. Hope you packed a handkerchief, you smart bastard.
What's going on out here? Swooping, eh? Why, I have half a mind to... Cats? Ah! Achoo!
No, that was just... Did you see the look on his face? Aeon's mercy, he certainly wasn't exaggerating about that allergy. What a buffoon! No, as much as I'd like to, you know the healer's oath. Do only moderate harm to those who cross you. I brewed a tea that should alleviate his symptoms. You can give it to him, but only if he agrees to come out and make a public apology. Then leave him to his sniffles and blubbering. Patients tend to avoid healers covered in their own snot. He can settle this business with his reputation intact. All he needs to do is apologize.
Oh, everything itches. Damnable cats! Don't be coy. I know who's responsible for this travesty. I never should have told that scheming witch about my allergy. What a low-born, wretched, undignified prank. Apologize to a grubby Telvanni piss peddler? Are you deranged? I shall report her. I shall... Oh, what's the use? Fine, she wins. Ifre's bones. What a monstrous injustice. Oh, just give me that swill. This had better work.
So, did Menaldinian relent, or should we leave him to his wheezing? Oh, thank goodness. Luring cats to his door every day would have gotten awfully tiresome. In the end, he'll see it's for the best. Collaboration always yields better results than competition. You and I are proof of that, right? Thanks again, Sarah.
Telenra, I wish to thank you for that most efficacious tea.
And?
Your alchemical skills yield impressive results.
And?
It was rude of me to malign your alchemical practice. I apologize.
Menaldinian, I forgive you. There's no reason for us to be at odds. We should try to cooperate, yes?
Yes, agreed. So, now that we're on good terms, can you please shoo these horrid creatures away from my clinic?
Of course. I brewed just the thing. Be seeing you, partner. Farewell. Sarah, a moment, please. You made it. Good. We have a great deal to talk about in a short period of time. In a clearing to the southeast, but that can wait. I trust you've seen what Halangier and I were growing in there. Moon sugar. In its raw form. It's a crude narcotic, but if you refine it, it becomes something truly odious. Skooma. I had to be sure he could do it. Moon sugar is temperamental. No one's been able to grow it here in Vardenfell. Until Halangier. I need you to take the notes you found to Captain Bethis in Seyda-Neen. Tell him everything. He'll handle the rest. It's complicated. I was a member of House Redwing's Narcotics Oath Bureau. I made some very serious mistakes. If I brought this tip to Captain Bethis, he would ignore me. But he has no reason to distrust you. Please, do this for me, Sarah. I'd rather not discuss it. Suffice it to say that the skooma trade offers many dark incentives. Especially for undercover officers. It's easy to cross the line. Too easy. Hopefully this arrest and seizure will help me make amends. If you'd ever taken it, you'd know. Skooma is a powerful hallucinogen. Addictive, deadly, and cheap. Lethal overdoses are routine in Morrowind. Once it's got its hooks in you, you'll do anything to get it. Steal, rape, kill, whatever. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. He's developed a method to grow vast quantities of moon sugar in Vardenfell. That's a dangerous skill. Too dangerous. Can you imagine what would happen if the Kimona Tong crime family got hold of his notes? Halangier is no Daedric prince, but his work could be just as destructive. Please, just do the right thing.
You are kind to check up on Halangier, but this one is fine. Again, thank you. What? How could she? Why would she do that? Halangier is no threat to anyone. Skooma? No, no, no. Halangier does not make skooma. My sister and cousin were both addicts. This one would never make such a thing. I only grow moon sugar, Walker. For personal use, you see. You would not ruin a life over such a thing, would you? Hey, Halangier has huge appetites. A little sugar in the morning to start the day, a little in the evening to soothe the soul. Moon sugar is a beautiful thing, my friend. The Riddlethar's gift to all Khajiit. Is the pursuit of pleasure really so bad? Halangier is glad you agree. This one just needs to gather his belongings, then he will be on his way.
Not now, citizen. I'm up to my armpits in problems today. Halangier? I thought him a clueless sugar sop. If he's managed to grow moon sugar here in Vardenfell, he's more cunning than he seems. Make no mistake, we'll find him. The Tribunal thanks you for your help, Outlander. Take this as your reward. Did you need something else? A skooma baron you'd like to report, perhaps? No? Then move along. Falura. That skooma fiend can barely put her trousers on straight, let alone conduct an investigation like this. You must be mistaken. Difficult to say. If I had my way, she'd be hanging from the nearest tree. I'll pass it on to my contacts in the Oath Bureau. I will be honest, though, her chances are very slim.
Outlander, a word. By order of the Deputy Governor of Sedanine, which happens to be me, the lighthouse is closed until further notice. On the other hand, I seek an outlander who's willing to do a little work. I need someone without ties to the area to look into a matter for me. It seems the lighthouse was broken into. The flame was extinguished. As a result, a ship crashed along the shore. There were fewer bodies than expected, both living and dead. I suspect slavers were involved, which means they had help here in town. I find that unacceptable. Discover who doused the lamp fire. They'll lead us to the slavers. Question Delms, who was on duty that night. He's in the lighthouse. I need to check in with the Overseer. His workers are searching the wreckage, and I want to know what they've uncovered. By the time we were alerted and had organized a response, precious moments had been lost. We rescued a few, but mostly we found those who had drowned or were crushed on the rocks. Even so, it was nowhere near the numbers a ship like that carries. It was just a typical sailing ship from the mainland. I suppose it carried the usual complement of cargo and travelers eager to reach our verdant shores. I don't believe that such a vessel would make the trip without filling its holds. Damn slavers. Ever since our agreement with the Pact went into effect, slavery has been outlawed throughout most of Morrowind. But all we did was drive the slavers into the shadows. This whole stinking event has their bloody fingerprints all over it. Here, and in all of the territories controlled by the great houses that support the Ebonheart Pact. If you stray into Telvanni or Dres territory, though, the practice remains strong and vibrant. Hence my current troubles. We are just a small outpost along the Bitter Coast, but I like to think of us as the gateway to Vardenfell. From here, Vivec City and the other inland locations are easily accessible. Governor O'Melian is in charge, although I contribute as necessary.
Despite all the
What do you want?
Malarethan. What a swit. I'm going to need a stiffer drink. You don't appear to be holding my drink, so I'm sure I have no interest in you. Off with you. I am. Young Mahler and I were talking about the sudden success of his mining enterprise, built on some irregularities that I'd prefer not to discuss. Not that it's any of your business. Who are you? Why are you meddling in Hlalu business? My. This is damning. Dear Mahler tried to hang this whole business around his brother's neck. And yours. A prudent, albeit sloppy affair. House Hlalu can ill afford such a scandal, and I hate to be lied to. Kill Mahler, and I will reward you. What would I do with him? Chain him to a post? His life no longer serves the house's interests. I don't expect an outlander to understand, but this needs to be done. Honestly, I doubt he'll give you a choice in the matter. His city residence, I expect, just across the river. Do be quick about this. I'm anxious to be done with the Brothers Rethan. No. What scroll? Don't tell me there's more to this fetching disaster. Does it now? Listen carefully. Don't breathe a word of this to anyone else. If Mahler has this formula on him, bring it to me. The reward will be significant. We cannot let this get out, and we cannot let it fall into the wrong hands. By the three, what a mess. I'll put some of my Oathman on it. Oathman I can trust. If we can clear out the riffraff, it might be salvageable. If not, we'll simply collapse the thing. Better to bury it than let some fool stumble upon Mahler's folly.
You! How did you... Bah, I'll finish this myself.
quietly now. Is it finished? Well then, this unfortunate little tale comes to an end. I've already dispatched some of my best agents to clean up Rethun Manor. We'll tend to Marla's apartment and the mine next. Well done. Now, excellent. Best hand it over to me. Something so dangerous should not fall into the wrong hands. House Hlalu can keep it safe, or destroy it if we deem it necessary. This will earn you some favor with our house. I'll even double your pay. You sniveling little swit. Do you know how valuable... Never mind. What's done is done. But don't expect any extra coin from me now. You'll have what was promised for killing Marla and not a drake more. This had better buy your silence as well. Honestly, you sniveling little swit, do you know how valuable...
May I be of service?
Yes? Is there something I can do for you, Outlander? My daughter has been gone too long, and the house guard can't seem to find a wall in the corner. But why should I trust you with this task? Tell me, Outlander, how can you succeed when my forces continue to fail time and time again? An interesting insight. Perhaps you can find my daughter. Vea can handle herself, but the father worries, you understand? Anyway, I agree with your assessment. That's why I'm willing to bring in outside help on this. Vea fled after a family disagreement. She's run away before, but I'm concerned that she might have something more permanent in mind this time, and more dangerous. Vea knows how to evade the house guard, but as you said, she doesn't know you. Captain Briven oversees the house's attempt to locate my daughter. You should speak to him and see what his investigation has already turned up. That is a private matter. If your investigation proves fruitful, and such matters become relevant, we can discuss the particulars then, but not before. Like my daughter, my wife has a mind of her own. What the two of you discuss is your own affair. Just understand that I haven't employed you to solve my family's problems. I only need you to find my daughter. Vea has always been fascinated by the Morag Tong. The Morag Tong? They're an ancient guild of assassins sanctioned by the tribunal to carry out honorable writs of execution. Ostensibly, they're supposed to keep the houses from resorting to all-out war, but I still find the practice barbaric. Someone of no consequence, and not at all important to accomplishing your mission. Besides, you don't find Morag Tong agents, they find you. Just pray it's not because your name wound up on one of their writs. That is a death sentence. He's probably patrolling the town square at this time of day. Briven's soldiers have been trying to get information out of Vea's friends. But those young men and women are almost as good at avoiding the house guard as my daughter.
You're the one who stopped Thalik from opening the portal to Oblivion.
Not now, Outlander. If you need some sort of assistance, go find one of the House Guard. You must be one of the freelancers the Council employed to supplement the duties of the House Guard. Very well. I'll tell you what I know. Vea ran away. Again. I hope you can succeed when my troops have failed. If anything happens to Vea... I've known the Relith family since I was a child. Vea is like a sister to me, and I'll do everything in my power to get her home safe and sound. Even trust an Outlander. We think her friends may know where she is, but they keep eluding us. Perhaps. As long as you don't get too close. They've been running notes of late. I think it has something to do with Vea, but the runners keep evading my guards. Look for a group meeting on the other side of town, and see if you can follow the note. When you find Vea's friends, remember to keep your distance. You just want to spot the note carrier and follow him to whoever's receiving these messages. That's the key to locating Vea. If you can't do it, don't worry. The house can handle it. Vea's a born warrior. Hard-headed, stubborn, a real pain in the ass. She can fight like an angry netch, though. I keep trying to get her to join the militia, but she always turns me down. That's not my tale to tell. If Councillor Eris or his wife won't speak of the troubles his family has had to deal with in recent weeks, maybe you can ask Vea, if and when you find her. Notice groups of young dark elves gathering in out-of-the-way parts of the city. One of my guards saw them pass a note between them, but they split up and she lost them in the back alleys. Could be a love poem or a recipe for Kwama cream cocktail. But we suspect it's the way Vea has been keeping tabs on what's been happening in the city. Look, it may amount to nothing, but the note could give us a lead on where to find Vea.
Get this letter to Trevis. It's important. Just don't let House Redoran get their hands on it. If you think you're being followed, find a place to hide. Good luck.
I've little time for talk.
Vea's brother. Hello, can I help you? Wait a moment. You're one of those hirelings House Redoran pays to harass us simple folk. Look, all Vea wants to do is to find out what happened to her brother. Too bad the house doesn't seem to care a swit about any of that. Vea wants nothing to do with the house or her father. Why can't any of you respect that? Even if I wanted to help, I haven't seen Vea since she snuck out of town. We communicate by notes, and this one isn't even about her. If you must know, it concerns Vea's brother. He was an officer in the House Guard before he vanished without a trace. We've been trying to help Vea find him. A local tough, goes by the name of Ashur. He delivers the letters. We usually meet him outside of town to the northeast. But good luck trying to get any information out of him. Ashur is not known for his conversational skills. I think we're done here, don't you? I told you where to find Ashur. He's been passing our notes on to Vea. Just to the north and east, outside of town. Or is this your way of offering to save me a trip, since you're headed his way? Balmora's not that big. Most of the sons and daughters of the house leaders and prominent merchants know each other. Vea's one of us, and we'll do whatever it takes to help her find her brother. Within reason. And Vea would do the same for us. That's why we're helping her. She really is a terrific person. You think I'm just going to tell you all our secrets, Outlander? Well, that's not going to happen. I won't betray Vea. All right. No need to get violent. Vea doesn't want her father to find her until she's located her brother, so we help protect her. That's why we set up the runners. Let the Councilor's hounds chase us, while Vea looks for Ulran. I'm sure Councillor Eris's intentions are good. He loves his daughter. Wants her back safe and sound. But what about what Vea wants? Her brother home safe, her father's honesty, the house looking out for its people and not just its precious honor? I'm not telling you anything, you Redoran lapdog. Sorry about that. I'm kind of on edge, if you hadn't noticed. Everyone knows Vea's brother. Or they did, before he disappeared. Ulran was an exemplary officer. everything House Redoran could hope for. Vea won't rest until she learns the truth. She ran away because her father refused to give her a straight answer. She suspects he was involved in Ulran's disappearance, or that he at least knows more than he's willing to say. Is it any wonder Vea decided to take matters into her own hands?
You killed one of my gang, Swit. No writ will protect you from us.
Feeling left out? I'm sure I can procure a writ for
That's
each
it!
of you.
Kill the Morag Tong and any witnesses!
I'll just take my leave. No use getting my axes bloody again. I had that situation under control. Just needed them to make the first hostile move. Still, I cleaned enough blood off my axes for one day, so thanks for lending a hand. You were you? Was it Melissa? I told her I'd close out my tab after I completed another contract. That woman has the patience of an anxious Nyx. Well, tell her I'm good for it. I'll stop by and we can conclude our business cordially. Vea? The new apprentice? Now why in oblivion do you care about Vea? Are you now? And why do you want to do that? Never mind, I don't really care. I was asked to pass along some notes, but I'm not really the messenger type. I suggest you talk to Vea's mentor. Last I heard, she had a job in the Western Ruins. Make sure you don't anger Vea's mentor, or even look at her the wrong way. She's grown surprisingly protective of that young woman, and if she thinks you pose a danger... Besides, I'd hate to see you wind up on the wrong end of one of our writs. You know, the usual buyer's remorse. I see a lot of that in my line of work. Turns out, I had to kill a bad man who did bad things. The writ was legal and above board. Unfortunately, his brother didn't see it that way and was looking for revenge. Oh, you make it sound so obscene. Still, that's pretty much an accurate description. But it's not like I work for the Dark Brotherhood or anything. I don't kill anyone without a sanctioned writ. Keeps the great houses in line. It's a calling. I'd rather not. She's particular about her secrets, and I don't want to get on a bad side. You should keep that in mind too, if you plan to continue on this course. Vea's mentor usually sticks to the rules, but I wouldn't turn my back on her.
Oh, Gilan, look! A Dwemer gear. It's in remarkably good condition.
Yes, wonderful. I'll mark it down.
And here, another. Could these have fallen off the ruins?
Yes, that is peculiar.
Is something the matter, dear? You seem distracted today.
Oh, nothing's the matter. I'm nervous.
Whatever for? If anything attacks us, I'll be danger.
I'm not nervous about an attack, Bravura. It's just... well... there's no good way to say this.
To say what?
Marry me. That's not the response I hoped for.
Gilon, of course I'll marry you. I love you. I just expected something more dramatic.
Well, I planned to propose at the falls, but today we didn't go to the falls.
And this is why you've been so nervous.
Yes. Wait. Did you just agree to marry me?
Yes, Gilon. 12 times yes. My dear, distracted, adorable archivist, I will marry you.
That's wonderful!
Isn't it?
Oh, Bravura, you won't regret this. You are the stars to my sky.
Did you just come up with that?
Well, no. I've been saving it for the right time.
Leave me, Outlander. Let me die in the shame I've brought to Malakath. Defeated by a lone warrior. Malakath will laugh at our incompetence. An assassin. Probably a Morag tongue. She tracked our leader here. But she doesn't know. We set a trap inside the ruins. Oh.
She's just one woman! Get inside the ruins and suffer!
Let the assassin come. I'm tired of running and she doesn't frighten me.
Turning up at the most unusual moments, don't you, hero? Questions? I don't have time for questions. I have a writ to complete. Look, I can't keep these evil cultists waiting. You want to talk? Find me after I finish this job. Hero, we really need to stop meeting like this.
Come out, little assassin! Or is the Morag tongue too scared to meet the powerful snake face to face?
Really, Snag? This only delays the inevitable. A helping hand? How sweet. Excuse me, hero. I have to see an orc about a writ.
Don't kill me. I didn't mean to interfere with House Telvanni's plans. I made a mistake.
A mistake? Well, that explains everything. I'll just let the Telvanni know. I'm sure Mage Valen will understand.
Oh, that's a relief. I thought for sure you were going to kill me.
I am. I hate when my leathers get wet. And this is a new outfit, too. Ah, well. I suppose we ought to discuss what you're doing here. I have to admit, when I saw you, I thought, what the tusk are you doing down here? Pardon my Orcish. Did you really follow me across the continent? That shows commitment. Kind of creepy, but still a lot of commitment. Oh, that's not what I expected. But you can just turn around and leave. You're not going to find her. Faye's going through a difficult time right now. And the last thing she needs is some House Redoran lackey adding to her pain and confusion. I know you, hero. It's old man Eris I don't trust. He didn't tell you about Vea's brother, did he? How House Redoran exiled their favorite son. No? I didn't think so. Vea deserves answers, and I promise to help her. You need to just walk away. Outsiders? Is her father really that desperate? Look, tell Eris that Vea's safe and you'll see her soon, but no more outsiders. If my organization gets skittish, they'll return to the shadows and take Vea with them. We'll only deal with you. Well, it's not exactly a lie, and I don't want things to get out of hand. I'll arrange a meeting, provided Vea agrees. You let Eris know she's safe. Get him to stop hiring freelancers before someone gets hurt. I'll send word when we're ready. Ah, were you imagining a hot bath, a bottle of wine, and a secluded cottage with a roaring fire? Me too. Instead, we're up to our armpits in the usual muck and mire, just like old times. All this, and things are looking up for my organization, too. I suppose if you're in for a sliver, you might as well be in for the log. I'm with the Morag Tong, and what you witnessed was a legal murder. According to my writ, the orc had to die. So, I killed him. Now, if you don't mind, I need to get back to Vea. Vea and I have a history. Her brother, too. They were good kids. Liked to watch me train. Now I feel responsible for her. When she came to me looking for help and asked to join the Morag Tong, who was I to refuse? That was her decision, not mine. Vea's good with a blade and tracks like a Nord Ranger. She's a natural at this, and it gives me a chance to keep an eye on her. So now I'm her mentor and she's my apprentice. I wouldn't have it any other way. That was poetry in motion. Not only is my organization getting choice assignments again, but we're starting to recover some of our prestige. Specifically, these Malakath cultists interfered with House Telvanni, so they had to be dealt with. Oh, him? No one special. Just the leader of this particular band of mad cultists. His name was on the writ, so I had to end him. It's what I do, after all, and I do it so well. Anything I can do for you?
I'm surprised to see you back here, but I'm also relieved. Does this mean you have news about my daughter? Is she safe? Is she ready to come home? Vea join that cult of assassins? I was afraid she'd do something rash. What was she thinking? I don't see the Morag Tong as safe, but at least she's still alive, so I suppose that's something. When are we going to meet with my daughter? She won't meet with me? No, I suppose she's not ready for that quite yet. As for Vea's brother, that was all the doing of the Redoran Council. I'm not allowed to discuss the details, but he's still alive, if that's what Vea is worried about. Naryu's back in town? She's as stubborn as Vea. Very well. No other outsiders. Although I can't dismiss the mercenaries that Captain Briven employs. House Redoran is my life, as is Vea. I'll do everything in my power to see her home safely. As you say, no other outsiders. But there are rules, Outlander. I must do everything within reason to maintain the honor of House Redoran. Here, your first payment. Soon, however, I'll expect more than just a verbal confirmation of Vea's safety. Vea, when next you see her, tell my daughter that I want to talk to her. Vea can set the terms, but I expect her to stop running away when things don't go her way. Vea has always felt shackled by the rules of House Redoran, hobbled by the many duties and obligations it presses upon its subjects. After the situation involving her brother, she decided she wanted nothing more to do with the house, or with me. That may be an oversimplification, but I suppose your statement is accurate. I walk a narrow path between House Counselor and loving father. Unfortunately, the former often supersedes the latter. That's why I want to speak to Vea again.
Well, look at that. Naryu said I'd find you here, and damn it all if she wasn't right. Did I mention how much I hate being a messenger? Makes me wish I had a writ so I could kill something. Anyway, Naryu wants to talk to you. Said you'd know what it was all about. Here. This should explain everything, sort of. It's a map. We change locations every other day for security reasons. Just in case it falls into the hands of House Redoran or someone else with an axe to grind with our organization. Never had to use a map before. Amateurs. This one leads to a key to one of our safe houses, and another map. The first map? It depicts a particular town. Kind of like this one. Hint, hint. The rest? Well, you'll have to figure that out on your own. Look, I know you're helping Councillor Eris, but if that map falls into House Redoran hands, I'll probably have to kill you. Nothing personal, mind you. We're already having a bit of trouble with the house, and we'd rather not make matters worse. Well, look at you. You're a practical genius. Look, Naryu seems to trust you, so I suppose I have to trust you too. But that's a powerful secret you've been given. Betray us, and you'll find my blade in your back. Unless now you kill. The Morag Tong has the authority to accept and carry out writs of execution. We keep the great houses from engaging in all-out war, but they rarely appreciate the work we do on their behalf. House Redorin in particular wants to shut us down. The other houses have used us to take Redorin down a peg or two of late. To be frank, for all their vaunted honor, the house cries foul whenever someone gets the better of them. Our status is tenuous enough without Redorin's constant harassment. As I understand it, the Morag Tong made mistakes in the past, grew too arrogant. We had to lay low for more than a century. Now, we're taking select contracts, working to re-establish our reputation. It's not our fault most of them concern Redorin. What are you implying? Can't a person do something nice to help out an ally every now and again? Oh, who am I kidding? I hate playing the messenger. Haven't you ever done something you hate because it was the right thing to do? Then you understand what I'm talking about. Being noble, doing the honorable thing. It can be a real pain in the arse, but a favor given becomes a favor returned. Eventually.
Help me. I'm desperate.